today, the positive gains, and my special guest today is Jordan Leslie. Jordan, thank you for being on. Jordan is played in the NFL. Again, jack of all trades. He's got his own business. He shifted out to Arizona. He's going to talk more about that, but thank you for being on today.
Thank you for having me.
All right, man. So if you can you give me some of your background, high school, college, NFL?
Yeah, of course. So I'm a Texas boy, born in Houston, went to Tomball High School just out northwest of Houston. Played football, track, basketball. It's pretty good, pretty athletic. I ended up going down the football route, but had scholarships a little bit everywhere. Coming out, I had scholarships from about 10 to 15 team or colleges. And then I was always holding out because I always wanted to go to University of Texas. That was my dream, being a Texas boy. I wanted to be a Longhorn. I loved Vince Young. So they never offered, but I had a new coach that I had visited at his old school. He was actually transferring to Kansas and going to take over the head coaching job there. And he told me once he got the job, he was picking me up. So I kind of turned down all my scholarships, was, banking on that. And then he kind of ghosted me. I never heard from him again. Once he got the job, he called me. I was like, yeah, I'm going to call you in a week. You're going to get a scholarship. And then a week came, 2 weeks came, and it got probably about 2 weeks before signing day, and I had nothing. And I ended up signing with the University of Texas, El Paso, UTEP, El Paso Miners. And I had a great years there. Had an amazing coach in Mike Price, had a great receiver coach in Guy Holiday. Was pretty successful. And then I ended up transferring to Brigham Young University, BYU, the Cougs. And we had an amazing senior season. Started off 4-0, top 15 in the country. And then our quarterback at the time, Taysom Hill, broke his leg and derailed our season a little. I had a few ankle injuries, had a little small tear in my hamstring. So it was a rough senior year, but coming out, I was excited about getting started and getting a chance to play in the NFL. I hired some agents that weren't the best for me, but coming out, you don't really know the situation. I kind of just picked the first people that reached out to me and just got to training. Went out to my pro day, performed great. I think I was in the top 15 of just about every category, from 40 time, bench, shuttle, just about all that. So I thought I did everything I needed to do to get drafted. Draft day came along. I got a call in the 5th round, like, hey, we're about to get you, next pick. And then no call. And it was a little speed bump. The draft ended and I was heartbroken, honestly. And agents called me, oh, we're going to put you in Minnesota. And I didn't really have much to say, but I was like, okay, cool. It's a chance, it's opportunity. That's all I need. Didn't really get a shot with Minnesota. Just kind of like the rookie, the deer-eyed new guy. So didn't really get too much playing time, but I bounced around a lot. Finally got a real shot with the Cleveland Browns. We're on their practice squad for about a year, performed great. Thought I was going to get a chance to play and talk to the GM. And he said, if I could ball out during preseason, I would get an active roster spot. Had a great preseason, led in catches, touchdowns, yards, and still got cut. And it broke my heart, but it was just another adversity. I just kept pushing and kept training. And a few weeks later, I got a call back to make the active roster. So I went out there, my first game, had my family fly out in Indianapolis, playing the Colts, graded out great, had a sports center, one-handed catch, like 2 yards from the end zone. So almost a touchdown, but not a touchdown. And graded out great. And then unfortunately, the next week, tore my hamstring and had to go through the recovery process of that. Didn't let it get me down, though. I kept training, spent the whole year getting back in shape, getting as good as I could be. Went to the Broncos, had preseason with them, led them in catches, touchdowns, yards, thought I was going to make another team, and then got cut. And at that time, I just realized, it's probably time for me to hang my cleats up and take on a different path. And I got into the financial industry so I can learn about money, learning about how to start a business, how to make money work for you. And then once I gathered that information, I started towards my passion, which is opening this training facility.
Wow. So quite a mouthful there. I mean, it's got to be tough when you know that obviously you belong and you're performing well, and then injuries get in the way and things like that start to not cloud your judgment. But did it bring doubt? Because obviously you were fairly young, still are. So was there ever doubts that, hey, am I making the right decision by stepping away? and taking this other route, or how long was that process for you in coming to terms with it?
Of course. I mean, no matter what, I mean, we're humans. So any decision we make, there's going to be a little ounce of doubt in your mind. And when I made the decision to hang up my cleats, I actually got a call from, I don't know if you heard of the Alliance Football League. It was the AAF. They had the little league for a couple months, and they called me, and I jumped at the first opportunity to play football again. I was like, you know what, this is a chance. So I ended up doing that. But as we know, after I think 4 games, that league shut down.
Folded.
And yeah, exactly. And then I got a call from Canada, and I went out to Canada for a week. And after a couple of weeks, after a couple of days, I just realized it wasn't the same to me. It wasn't what I was used to. And it's not that I lost passion for the game. It just wasn't where I wanted to be. And I think going through that helped me understand that there's an ending for every athlete. No matter how good you are, no matter how talented you are, whether it's 10 years down the road, 5 years down the road, 20 years down the road, there's a time where you got to hang your cleats up. And I always knew that my end game was I wanted to create a facility to help inspire the youth. And so it was time to get onto that mission. And if I wasn't going to get the opportunity that I want to in the NFL, it was my chance to share my knowledge, share my tools, and help someone else get there.
So then that leads me into, the transition. You talk about training and then financial
financial literacy.
Literacy. Okay, so was that something that you'd studied in college? How did you come down that path? Was that something that you'd always wanted to do that was in your back pocket, or was that something, throughout your collegiate years that you were studying for?
So on the financial literacy side, that was more just from, it was stuff we're not taught in school. I never learned about money. I never learned about investing. I never learned about a 401k, a Roth. I didn't learn anything about that. And I knew it was important to learn, especially if I wanted to start a business. I needed to learn how to manage money. I needed to know how to make my money grow for me. So, and I had been in the NFL. I knew some guys that got $1 million salaries and never even got to see their money. They had a financial advisor that just gave them an allowance every week, and that's what they got. And that wasn't for me. I wanted to be able to educate and teach people that you should know where your money is. You should know where it's working. You should know what's going on. So that's what led me to go down that route. And then the facility, I mean, as a kid, I was always about, pushing others, inspiring people. Just like any kid, I want to make it to the NFL. I wanted to be great, but unlike a lot of kids, I wanted to make it to the NFL so I can make enough money to open a facility. I wanted to make it nonprofit. I wanted to be able to help work with a lot of people, because I've seen a lot of great athletes and a lot of just great people that had talents, had the tools to be successful, but they didn't have a supporting cast. So I wanted to be able to establish something in a location where I can be that supporting cast. I can be that safe haven for the kids to come to learn about their sport, but also learn about things off the field that will help them be successful in life.
Now, are you helping current players with the financial side of it right now?
So that's definitely the goal. I've been in the financial industry for about 2 years, so I'm still learning every day. But that's definitely the goal. I want to be able to help as many people that are seeking knowledge. I give free game and a lot of Instagram posts, and I'm always, anything that I learn from somebody, I'm willing to share it right away. So the goal was to represent a lot of athletes and just teach them about the finances, teach them about the importance of knowing where your money is and how to make it work for you, and understanding the good credit and bad credit, things of that nature. So yeah, that was always the goal.
And another question pertaining to that: why is it, in your opinion, do you think that that's not more harped on as far as being maybe financially free and learning and, amongst the different sports? It doesn't seem as if they have, that's not obviously the focus, the focus is the sports and stuff like that. So why do you think that just some athletes in general just kind of push it aside and, hey, somebody else will take care of that for me?
I mean, I think growing up, especially as an athlete, I mean, you're taught to focus on your sport and get everything you got into that passion. And that's a great teaching point, and it's perfect because that's what got me there. I put everything I had. I was one of the most competitive kids on the field. Like, if you told me to run through a wall, I was probably going to run through a wall as many times until I had to break it down. So you're taught to keep focused on the end end at mind, the end goal. So you're not too worried about your finances. You're not too worried about all those other things because you can hire people for that. But the more that you do learn and the more that you do incorporate yourself into your finances, into your daily life, and just into networking and meeting different people, you're able to take different nuggets and different life lessons from people and incorporate it into your own life.
Okay. So the training part, why Arizona? Why that location?
Yeah, so I'm from Texas, like I said, and then my girlfriend's from Florida. So we were looking at Texas, Florida, and Arizona. I wanted to go somewhere it didn't snow, so I didn't have to worry about that here. And then I wanted to go somewhere where, you know, I can make a big impact. Obviously, being from Houston, I know a lot of the trainers out there. Dallas area, I know a lot of trainers out there. Florida, they all have a lot of established things out there to help the youth. And coming to Arizona, obviously, you know, not saying there's no facilities out here for kids to go train, but it was just an opportunity for me to provide more to the area that I'm in, to give more. I've loved the area so far. The people have been super nice. So, you know, I think it's a great decision.
What type of trainings do you offer for obviously all athletes, right? So, you know, what is it typically when somebody inquires about wanting to go down there? You know, what are you doing as far as offering what types of programs can they get into?
Of course. So as of now, we're still looking for a facility. So it's been 4 months of searching. We're just trying to get everything perfect because we want to be able to incorporate everything. But for the last 2 to 3 weeks, I've just been doing a lot of field training with my athletes because I couldn't hold back anymore. I couldn't keep waiting. So as of now, we're doing field training, focusing on footwork, position-specific drills, speed, technique, and just incorporating all type of aspects on the field. But once we get the facility open, we hope to also incorporate film study, recovery stations, proper weight training, and hopefully be able to get tutors and counselors in there. We have a mental strength coach that we're talking to, and I've even had people from Facebook groups reach out that are chiropractors and Pilates coaches that are interested in helping the kids. We want to create a place where kids can go for 3 to 4 hours after school and get everything they need, from their training for athletics, from their recovery to stretching, to their film study, to sitting down and talking to a tutor, getting their homework done, figuring out what they're passionate about. That's one thing that I've always wanted to really instill into every person I talk to. Find your passion. Because like I said, sports aren't forever. So if you have something else you're passionate about, something that you know what you want to follow, now I'm able to create a path for you. College education is not for everybody. If a kid came up to me and told me, hey, I want to be a photographer, then, hey, well, let's create a path for that. Let's get you around other professional photographers so you can learn from, so you can figure out if this is something you really want to do. So that's the type of things that we want to incorporate into the facility. We want kids to understand what their passion is and what their path can be other than sports as well.
Okay. Yeah, you guys are gonna be highly successful in that, obviously, like you were saying, because I'm real familiar with Texas as well, and it seems like you were saying, there's so many people that are established, and then out towards this area, there's not like there's a lot of MMA, there's a lot of mid-level training, but none of it's really year round. So I do think that, you know, you'll be highly successful, you know, because you're willing to put in the work.
Thank you.
So favorite thing about Arizona so far?
Honestly, it's probably the people. Obviously, I'm from the South, so I'm used to the Southern hospitality. Just moved from LA, though. I spent 2 years in LA, and it's honestly, people have been so accepting. I've jumped in a few Facebook groups in the Gilbert and Chandler area and just introduced myself, introduced what I was doing, and just wanted to say hi. And so many people have reached out saying, you know, giving me words of encouragement, telling me, you know, I do this, I can help with this, and just offering so much. So I would say that's the biggest thing. Even my girlfriend walks around and people, you know, come up and just compliment her and say hi, and she's thrown off. She's like, what? People are so nice. Yeah. Like in LA, I mean, it's a little different for sure.
Okay. So you were talking right now again about, you know, what you hope to do and the goal and the mindset, obviously training and then tapping into the kids' minds and seeing exactly where they want to be. Long term, where do you hope that this can go as far as like event wise? Do you hope that maybe you can run like yearly camps, scholarships? I mean, just if you had it your way, how big would you want this to get for you?
So if it's my way, I obviously want, a big facility in the middle of the Gilbert, Chandler, Mesa area, and something that every kid knows about in the area, and everyone understands that it's a place they can go that's a safe haven to learn and to educate themselves. I don't think I mentioned it yet, but my partner is Guy Holliday, who's been a college coach for 20 plus years, D1 colleges. So we want to incorporate the film study with him, the training with me, and everything on top of that. And I don't know if you can see my shirt, but this is actually JLES Dreamchase. It's actually a camp that I did when I was playing. I offered a free camp in my area. We got about 150 to 200 kids to come out. I just got all the big trainers in the Houston area to come out, and we just did individual drills, 7-on-7, food, prizes, one-on-ones. We just, which did it to give back. So that's something I hope we can definitely do, is just a yearly free camp to get as many kids interested in the sport, whether it's football, basketball, soccer, baseball, whatever it is. Just get them interested and passionate about something. Because that's one thing I've talked to a lot of people about, people that never did sports when they were younger. And they say, like, I wish I would have had that, because it motivates you. It gives you something to look forward to. It gives you something. If education and, school isn't your strengths, well, having something extracurricular to go to inspire you to do good on the educational side is what we want to provide. So that would be my biggest thing, to have a big time facility in the area where kids know that they can go for a safe haven, to be doing yearly free camps for kids, to offer to give back to the community, and maybe have some 7-on-7 teams. But really we want to focus on getting as many kids as we can, and inspiring them, and getting as many athletes as we can into college, getting degrees. And then if the next level comes, but we want to make sure that they get those degrees, or at least find the path that they want to look forward to going to.
And advice, what would you say, to anybody that's, looking, they're on the outside looking in, they kind of want to get involved, but, maybe they're a little hesitant because they get overwhelmed looking at the next person. I'm not as good as that person. I want to go check it out, but I don't know if it's for me, so what advice would you give to somebody?
No, of course. So I would give two things. First thing is, your work ethic is so important. I'm not the most talented person. I'm not the most athletic person. I'm not the fastest. I don't jump the highest. But one thing that I did, and I've done my whole career, is work. You know me, I was racing kids in class in notes. Like, I'm the most competitive person no matter where I am. So when you have that type of work ethic, yeah, your athletic ability helps, but having a work ethic like that sets you apart from so many kids. There's so many great athletes I've known, people that are way more athletic than me, but they didn't have a drive. So if you have that work ethic, have that drive, have that fire inside of you, be the last one off the field. You might not be the best right now, but the more that you work, the more time that you put into whatever your craft is, and I'm not even talking about sports, whatever your craft is, the more time you put into it, the better you're going to be. And then that leads me into my second thing, is find a professional in the industry that you want to go to and learn from them. You can't tell me you want to be a doctor, but you're not hanging around doctors or learning from doctors. Every single person in the profession that you want to go to has a life nugget or has a life lesson that can help you. They have strengths, they have weaknesses, learn from them and add it to your own lifestyle, add it to your own, philosophy, add it to your own personality traits, pick something out and just learn. I think it's really big to be a sponge and soak up everything out there. I wish I'd have done it more. Now I'm sitting here at 29, about to turn 30, and I'm watching YouTube videos about financial stuff, new drills, everything there is under the sun, because I want to have as much information as I can. So those would be the two biggest things.
Great advice right there, especially hitting the nail when you say, even aside from sports, whatever it is that you want to do, finding somebody, in that field, and, being a sponge and trying to absorb as much as they have to offer. Next thing is social media. You were talking about people, you were on the Facebook groups and things like that. That's where I found you. you know, on I don't even know how, it was one random little post that I just clicked on and I saw what you were talking about. So the power of social media. So with that being said, where are you at on social media where people can find you for more info?
Yeah. So my handle is JLES9. So JLES and then 9. That's my Instagram. That's my Twitter. That's my website where my pricing is, where news about any of the information I've done in the past. Everything is on my website. I actually have a TikTok, but it's a couples TikTok. We're getting pretty big. We have like 330,000. It's just more comedy. That's _ living our life. But honestly, any person that's looking to wherever it is in your life you are looking just to improve, feel free to reach out. I check my DMs. I get back to 90% of the people, just because, you know, you never know what little message you could give somebody that could change their life. And so I always want to be that person to help inspire. At the end of the day, I can make no money in the rest of my life, but as long as I can inspire some kids to chase their dream or to pursue something they thought they would never be capable of, you know, I've done my job.
Right on. Well, Jordan, I appreciate you being on, and real quick, you know, when we get off this call, stay on the call real quick for a little bit. But I appreciate you being on. You know, anytime you want to come back on, anytime you have something that you need to put out, more than happy to try and facilitate whatever it is that I can. But again, for you taking the time out of your busy day, I appreciate you.
No, thank you. And thank you for having me, man. I love what you're doing. I love the positive energy. I just love everything about this podcast. So thank you for having me.